I often get asked quite a bit about this particular guitar. People go, Tony, what kind of guitar is this? You know, was it a BC Rich? Is that a ESP or something? And the answer is none of the above. This is my own design. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, there was a brand guitar, which is still around today, called BC Rich. And they made a model called the Biche model, B-I-C-H. And it had other machine heads, tuners, down in this section. It had a special bridge. It was a 10-string. It was 2 strings shy of a 12-string, which had octave strings and such. And the way the bottom horn of that came around, I never really cared for that. It just didn't fit me. So this was my idea of what that shape should have been. And deep cutaway, because I don't play way low. I play a little bit higher usually, so this allows me to get up in the upper frets without any inhibition. The neck shape is basically all me. It was partly fashioned after an Ibanez Wizard neck, which has a flat rear profile, and the meat is towards the outer shoulders of the radius a little bit. And then I drew up the headstock, I drew up the truss rod cover, I drew up everything on some drafter's graph paper that has little 1/4-inch squares on it. And I drew it up about 7 years before it was actually built. This was actually built by John Jordan in Concord, California. www.jordanmusic.com. He's a fine luthier. Has his own custom brand of electric violins in multiple ranges. So when I first built this, when John first built it, I had an Evans E2 humbucker here and an E1 here, which was just a humbucker and a single coil. And I'm real simple when my guitar layouts: a volume knob, a toggle, and the truth. I have a Goto Floyd on this one. Something I did a few years ago, which I used to have this completely free-floating, meaning that when I use the tremolo bar, it both goes down and it goes up. However, in the last couple of years, I've experimented with some different tunings, and a guy I've come to know over the years named Kevin at Tremolo, that's TREMOLO-No, that's also the name of his website. He designed this nifty little device that locks the trem, so you can do a number of things. For instance, if I release the deep C, I can just set it for dive only. And in doing so, I can also do drop tunings and still use the tremolo. And then what else is nice about that, when you do double stop bends, normally on a free floating guitar, and I'll actually just release it and show you once I tune it back up, because otherwise it'll go wonky. Okay, now when I release the free floating part of this, if you ever do a double stop bend on a guitar that's equipped with a floating tremolo such as this is, the note that you bend off of, well, once you bend that note, your drone note tends to pull flat because you're pulling tension against the spring cavity in the back, so you get this effect. On a hardtail guitar such as a Les Paul or a Strat that's not equipped with a trem, or even a Telecaster, this isn't a problem. But on a fully floating guitar, what happens is you can see where the bending of the note causes that to go flat, so this eliminates that. 9 out of 10 times when I'm just recording guitar parts, such as rhythm parts that do not require any tremolo activity, I just leave it locked. It keeps the tuning stability, and it also adds a little bit more resonance to the tone. So I really believe in this product. I had a hip shot trim setter in this guitar before I got the tremolo, and I'm much more satisfied with the tremolo. It seems to be much more natural. When it's not locked into place, you don't know it's there. It completely functions as it did as a freely floating unit when it's not set in that mode. Other than that, I leave it locked. I leave it locked when it's in the case. That makes it easier to tune back up after it's made a transition from one humidity climate to another, and it just performs flawlessly. I really love it. And I've since put the trim setter in another guitar that I rarely use, mainly because it keeps it in tune while I'm not using it, and then when I go decide to use it, it's in tune and ready to go. So that's the basics of the TFS 6, as it's been called for the last 14 years. This has been my main guitar for many years now. And I'll just show you kind of, pardon me while I have a bad cable, but this guitar just does everything I want it to do. It really performs well. I just love the way it sounds, it feels. TFS6, I love it, still my baby. Hope to have many more made eventually, hopefully in a 7-string version too, because I've been playing the 7-string quite a bit over the last several years. So that's my baby.